because of it. And I love it.
Let's flip this to Sam Presti and think about something like, theoretically, could the Thunder make a similar Godfather style permanent deal with Sam Presti? Like,
okay, so
that's what the Heat did to extract, Pat Riley, and Pat Riley was just a coach.
Yeah,
just, but like a president of basketball operations who maybe gets offered a piece of the business plus, $10 million a year. Pretty significant thing. Is that something that the Thunder would have to do?
I think it's going to come up here soon. And if it hasn't already and it's behind the scenes, then it has to be addressed, because there's what's right, you know what I'm saying? And there's making sure that somebody, okay, you're working for a company, Mark, right? Let's just say this company all of a sudden does, $2 billion in sales, right? And it was because of one of your ideas that they make $2 billion in sales. Now, you're expecting a little bit of a chunk of change as a bonus. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because you've created a product that was worth $2 billion in the industry. I hope the Oklahoma City Thunder look at it like that with Sam Presti. It's like, hey, listen, you created a program that's worth $2 billion at this moment. We're going to provide you with blank amount of capital because of it. Now, that would be the reward that I believe that he would receive, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, like, let's just be honest, because like people protect their nuts as much as they possibly can, and they probably are paying him incredibly, very, very handsomely. And it's only a matter of time before he starts slipping into that president role. And he already has that president GM role, but all the way president role, and allows a GM to come in.
Right.
Like, it's only a matter of time.
That's the type of progression you get from somebody as they move into the Pat Riley role.
Like the semi-retirement role.
Right. And like, he's built something where he should be able to, oversee it from a little bit of a distance as you
until
have
he's 70, 75 years old as a president.
I mean, if you remember post-draft, this last year, we had Presti sitting down with, I forget who, but one of his assistant GM. One of his assistant GMs. And yeah. I'm like, that's the future.
That's it. And I think the way that Sam rotates the coaches in the G League as well, allowing them to all be the head coach down there,
Right, exactly.
I think is key, kind of realizing probably what, I mean, I could be totally off on this. He could only have one assistant GM, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes through that progression with a number of his people that he considers high up there. He has like an echelon of like true assistant GMs versus assistant GM. Like as Dwight used to say, I'm the assistant to the management, and there's
assistant general manager. No, assistant to the general manager.
I'm assistant to the general manager. Right. I think that's the thing that would be the difference in those, whether you're the assistant manager or assistant to the general manager. And I think that for me, I'm looking at that and seeing how the Oklahoma City Thunder do that, and seeing the connections to the coaches, to the players, to the GMs, to all that other stuff. It's important, because they're all learning how to become a master at their craft.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot, like investing in staff, investing in your assistant general managers, investing in your coaches and your assistant coaches, building into not just player development, but coaching development, staff development. And Dave, you sent me this thing, so let's talk about it, because I looked at it the first time and I didn't see what you saw. So I'm pulling it up and I'm going to share it. Hang on one second. I'm going to share it with everybody as soon as I can figure out how. Dave, explain what we're looking at. I texted it to you.
Oh, you did? Okay, my bad.
Sorry, I thought
I was
you were
like,
looking at
you
it.
and me.
I thought you were looking at it with me. All right,
all
what
right,
we're looking at
cool.
is go ahead. Key
First
NBA
of all,
all-rookie team voting.
All right, let's just get into that, because you guys can find this on NBA.
I'm going to share it with everybody who's watching here in a second.
All right, perfect. Mark's going to share that. So we look at the total points for the 2022-2023 Kia NBA All-Rookie First Team, right? Paolo, which has 100, shouldn't be surprising there. Then we get to JDub, has 99 and one second place vote. And I constantly wonder, what the hell? Like, who in their right mind would have voted JDub a second place vote, right? So we start looking at Jaden Ivey was, right there. Benedict Methuen had 71. So you have the three that were at the top were 100 for Paulo, 99 JDub. And,
Right. So which is incredible right there, right?
Yep.
You only had one away from that, which is pretty. I mean, 2 first team all right there.
So then you keep on looking, and then you're like, oh, I wonder if any of the other Thunder players got on. So you start scrolling down, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, Jalen Williams has won first place vote, which begs to differ. And it started this crazy thing over Twitter and all over everywhere. It's like, did JWill just steal JDubs' #1 vote? And people were like, what the fuck? So the NBA put an investigation into it. Not even kidding, guys. Guess what happens?
What?
The person that voted for JDub also voted for JWill. So somebody didn't vote for JDub first team, all rookie team. Insanity, bro.
So, wow, dude. See, I knew you got some heavy shit here, but irregardless, let's talk about JWill. If they did have a third team, he would be on it. Even if you took away that 2 point, he'd still be 5th. Now, I know they don't do that, so we can't talk about it, but he's 15th in overall. And by the way, this goes back to what we were saying. He started out in the G League. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be playing much this season, and if they thought he was going to be playing, they definitely didn't think he'd be making an impact. And here we are. JWill making an impact on the all-rookie team.
That's amazing.
JDub, 1 point off Paulo for the perfect score. 199 out of a possible 200. Only one person gave him a second place vote.
Let's just be honest. It was either Orlando.
It was Orlando
person, or it was Walker, or it was Utah, because it was like, hey, there's one opportunity that we get here. And we already know that the Utah voters, regardless, voted for Walker Kessler for the Rookie of the Year, and that's why he had 2 first place votes. So it doesn't mean that that's what happened, but shenanigans are amongst
shenanigans. All right, so let's have a fun. Paulo goes #1. JDub goes #12. Walker Kessler, where did he go? I think he went like
13th.
13th, okay.
13 or 14, yeah. Whatever.
Murray went 5th, right? Or 4th?
4th. Wait, no,
Mathurin,
Jaden Ivey went 4th.
Ivy went 4th. Mathurin, I think, went 6 or 7.
Dude, I'm so bad at this.
I know, exactly. This isn't easy, but we know Jabari where it went. He went at #3.
3. I think it was Jaden Ivey 4, and then it was 5. It was Keegan.
Do you remember when we started talking about JDub having a longer, more successful career than Paulo? Like, we were totally blasted.
Oh my God, people made fun of us for it.
Now, I'm not saying that this proves anything, but I would say that if you were looking at this, you would say that the NBA writers have agreed that there are 2 players who are definitely in the running for the best player. You say Walker Kessler.
Yes, and I think here's the thing about it.
But I'm talking about like a 15-year NBA career.
Yes.
Where you go on to
Walker Kessler will be a make
10 All-Star games and stuff like that.
I don't know about 10, but Walker Kessler will make 5.
Maybe.
He's good, bro. He's really
I get it. He's
really
good. He's really big. He impacts games.
Yeah.
Okay. But in the end, like, how many guys do you really feel like make all-star games because of their defensive impact? I mean, I remember Rudy Gobert like having to cry to get votes, like literally breaking down, like, I don't know what I have to do, and then they start getting votes.
You're right.
I'm just saying, like, to me, it's Paulo and JDub, right? Paulo and JDub, they got guard skills. They got the ability to attack from the perimeter. They understand. They're modern NBA players.
Yes.
So then you say, which one of those 2 guys are going to have a longer, more impactful?
Well, if Paulo learns to shoot a 3, which I don't think, I mean, let's just be honest. I think his best years in threes will probably be around 33%, 34%. I don't think he's ever going to pass that 40%. And I think the more I watch JDubs form, especially this offseason, and watching all the things that he's been able to do, bro, I want to be kind to all the rest of our players on this team. Make sure I don't hurt any feelings.
You always hurt feelings.
But there's 2 guys on this team that I feel like have a shot that's just like, wow. And that's Isaiah Joe, and that's JDub. I think JDub will be a 40-plus three-point shooter. And because of that, and the defense he brings, and the
Explain
ability
to
to
me,
get downhill.
what about his mechanics make you think that?
All right. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if you really want to watch JDub's mechanics, all right, the best way of understanding it is there's two ways, okay? The catch and shoot, right? And you watch the catch and shoot shot. It looks identical, okay, to his dribble off the dribble shoot a shot, the step into the shot. Like his release is exactly the same. You know, like everybody talks about releases being important. Everybody talks about footwork being important. But when you see a player that consistently puts the same shot up over and over and over and over again, right? You're like, okay, that player gets it, right? And how many times did we see that JDub's shot just barely went out or rimmed out or in and out and all that other stuff? Those are slight changes for JDub's shot. And we're talking like slight changes, whether he put too much thumb into it, whether his fingers weren't straight, whether like there's certain things that he's doing wrong that will get better. But when you come to the best shots on the team, JDub has to be right there. And I look at the shot, I look at the way he releases, look at the way the elbow, the knee, the toe, they're all connected. You know, like it's something that I feel horrible for. We talked about a lot of his shot during the season and how beautiful it was and how just like the mechanics look good, but we didn't get into grave detail about it because like there's so much else that was going on, and I feel bad about it because there's so much things about his shot and his footwork and the way that he's able to get straight. And even though his feet are off a little bit, he just gets his body straight. He does all the little things right. And yes, his shot didn't go in, and yes, but it's the NBA, and he's only played in college ball. And before it all started for him, he was 6'2" going into college, guys. You know, like now he's 6'6", playing in the NBA in 3 years. Like there's going to be a learning curve for him. So when we're talking about the best players in this draft, I said it when we got them. I'll say it again. I'll yell it from the rooftop. In 10 years, the redraft will happen. It will have Chet number 1 and it will have JDub number 2.
All right, now let's talk about something else, bro. Because another thing that we got ridiculed for was we started saying that we felt like JWill had made an impact that he would move up into the lottery. Like he was a good enough NBA player where he was a late lottery pick.
Top
Walker
15,
Kessler
baby.
moved into this spot where he would have been much higher picked than he was. But I think JDub probably would have been picked somewhere around Walker Kessler's level if people knew the impact he could have made. And I still think he has a lot of way he can go up because his shot is coming along. His charge taking ability isn't going to change. It's only going to become more impactful unless the NBA rules change. But I think he's young enough. If they did change the rules, he would adjust. He'd be fine. And I do think.
But the NBA they value the charge, bro.
They do.
They do very much so. And
So,
I think JWill's ability to do that is going to only get better.
And how many games did he really play for us? I mean, it took him a while.
I think 50. I mean, like
And to get these votes is pretty significant with this limited sample size.
It's 50, but I want to say like impacted 40 games. You know, like he played in significant amount in 40 of the games. And it could only be 35. I don't know. But here's the thing about it is that we saw enough about it that he led the league in charges.
I just thought of something. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
I do believe JWill got one more first team vote than Josh Giddey.
True.
Josh Giddey got 0 last year.
0.
And it pissed him off.
It did.
And it should have pissed him off.
And
I support him being pissed off about that.
Yeah. And well, he only played 50-something games. JWill played less games or around the same and got 1 vote, which is insane. So again, like the way that JWill was able to adapt his game so quickly to the NBA is something that needs to be, you know, people would stop, and when a redraft will happen and people will be like, well, JWill was able to do this in the short amount of time that he came into the league. Like next year, you know, people will be talking about Chet's blocks per game, but I wouldn't be surprised if JWill ends up having like 2.5 charges a game. I mean, like, has there ever been anybody that's gotten 150 charges in a season? Hell no, there hasn't. I don't think there's ever been a player that's gotten over 100 charges in a season.
There have been. I looked it up. I think
there has been?
Yeah, I think there was a couple of years where somebody got like Shane Battier got over 100. Like,
Okay, all right, but barely though over
might
100,
be
right?
wrong about that though.
But we're
I gotta
talking
look at
like small numbers over 100, not like 20
right.
you know,
150 is like it would be a crazy number.
it would be known for. It would be like Steph Curry's known for breaking the threes record. Like JWill will be known, like if you're coming into the lane, you're going to get charged or you can get blocked by Chet. Like what team, and this isn't in the league, guys. I want to make sure you guys all understand this. This isn't in the league that we're talking about, that driving to the hole is the most valuable asset right now. And we got two shot blockers, essentially. We've got the person that's going to get people in foul trouble by coming in the lane, which I think that he could average an insane amount of charges in a season throughout his career. And then you have the other player you have is Chet. And Chet is the ghost blocker, man. He comes out of nowhere and blocks you. He doesn't need to have contact. I mean, if players want to go up and get contact against him, they can. But when you have two guys like this that are designed and set up, that are playing in the league together, they have time to grow together. I'm telling you, the duo together is going to be like representing at least 5 possession changes a game.
Now, this brings me back all the way back to kind of where we started, which was Jordan Poole, the Warriors, the way they built their team. Like, you have to be able to pair high draft picks with second round picks.
Sure.
And you can't pay those second round picks or those late first round picks, superstar money. You've got to keep your core intact. You've got to keep the other players rotating around them. And when they go from like star in their role to star paid, you got to move them out. So I look at it and I'm like, yeah, like you could seriously see Chet and JWill partnering up for a very long time.
Very.
And a lot of that is because, well, let's face it, Draymond Green was a second round pick. That made him a perfect candidate to fill in the gaps between Clay and Steph. And honestly, they had a number 1 pick in Andrew Bogart. I can't say his name right now, but he was a number 1 pick, so he wasn't picked by them. He was picked by the Bucks. But at that point, he was one of the leaders of the team.
Yeah.
Draymond came along during that time and really became the emotional leader of the team. And then he began to play that high post passing role, took over some of those responsibilities. But in the end, he's just a second round pick. And if you can't replace role players with second round picks and continue to contend, then you end up being where the Warriors are. You're overpaying Wiggins. You're overpaying Poole. You can't go out and get the right players. And then all of a sudden, you're deep into a playoff series, and coach looks down the bench, and he's like, Moody's the only guy I trust. And he didn't even play him that much in the regular season. But, yeah, I mean, JaMychal Green, 0 for 2. Yeah. Just a couple of minutes there. We already talked about Poole's shitty numbers.
This is why it's important. You can no longer have multiple crazy contracts out there. What's up, Sammy? How are you doing, man? I look at the contract issue that the Golden State's in, and there's going to never be a team like that ever again. And I say that, but we've seen it happen whenever like this is happening, the crazy numbers, right? And all of a sudden this next contract for the next 70 years is going to cut that down, right? And then all of a sudden, the next 7 years is probably going to be full with a little bit looser contract, meaning that that's what benefits the Thunder, and nobody really recognizes that yet. So again, it's just going to go back and forth until they find this nice medium. Because when you're talking about billions of dollars for TV contracts, like the players are going to start believing that they believe to get more money, and well, they should. Like we shouldn't be talking about like capping out some of these contracts, especially when you have somebody that's going to come into your organization like LeBron James and take over, and all of a sudden next thing you know, it's worth $1 billion more. Like they need to be able to bring in more money.
For sure, dude. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but I think like
hell yeah, Sammy, thank you.
These new rules are creating an environment where the tax is going to the NBA and not going to the players. Like the Warriors paying I think $3 for every dollar to the NBA for taxes. It's pretty significant, and I don't think the Warriors were sustainable anyway. They were paying like $100 million a year plus in taxes, 150 I think. Like that's $1.5 billion over 10 years. Not sustainable. then on top of that, it's going to get more punitive. It's going to be more difficult to build. So this is the end of the type of team the Warriors built.
Yeah.
By the end, Bob Myers should be tarred and feathered and sent out of town.
Yeah, man.
Is that still something they do? I don't think they do that.
Man, made me start thinking. As we're wrapping this up, I got to say this, man. Mark and I are talking about starting to make some T-shirts. So I know we have a ton of fans out there. If you own a T-shirt company or work with a T-shirt company, you can get us a deal. Please let me know in the comments, because I would love to be able to start doing that. But you know how things are. We just want to go slow. We're not expecting money. We just want to be able to put our little Flavor Flav on a T-shirt for you guys. And we're just looking at doing stuff like that, because we don't ask for subscriptions or likes or anything else like that. We just enjoy being with you guys. But, we want to create a T-shirt too, because it's fun wearing other people's T-shirts, but it's time to wear ours.
For sure. Sebastian, what's up, man? All right, so we're going to talk more about this as shit gets closer.
Yeah, Sebastian, we got 1 week from today.
But
1 week from today.
One name, if you just want to hear one name.
Okay. One name from each, or just you?
Sure, both of us.
All right, you go for it.
All right, Arkansas, Nick Smith Jr. Isn't that
bastard. You bastard. All right.
Go, Dave.
All right. Rayan Rupert. That's mine.
All right.
Mark took my first initial one, but Rayan Rupert is a really outstanding, incredibly long arms, great defender, and he plays in the NBL, so really good.
Eaton, I agree, man. I think that's going to be an issue in the future of NBA, but right now, players like Gobert still have a little bit of value. Over a long haul of the evolution of the game, more and more stress will be put on those players who can't impact the game from the perimeter, I think. But as of right now, I think I can see why people dig him, but I totally agree with your assessment of the direction the future of the NBA will take.
That's it.
There you go, Dave.
I love it. What's that?
That's it. You said that's it. I said that's it.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
First?
Spaced out there for a minute. Well, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Everybody that joins us live, and then everybody that comes on afterwards to the podcast and listens to them. We try to break them up so that all y'all people that don't enjoy listening to us consistently talk about random shit, you can get right to the meat with a Thunder or whatever other shit that we talked about. So again, we appreciate you all.
Smitsta, I will be joining you in 10 minutes.
You are my heart, Smitsta. Ooh, 18-year-old French guy. I love it.